Okie dokie. So let's just check my mic's working. I think it is. So the aim of today's stream is going to be to get a bit further on adapting Electron Fiddle for use with React Native macOS. So Electron Fiddle is a tool to make JSFiddles, or something along the lines of JSFiddle for Electron. It allows you to select between pre-built versions of Electron and jump between them and compare a fiddle of code between different versions of React Native macOS, in our case, React Native macOS, without having to have a dev environment set up. So you don't need to have Xcode or Visual Studio Code set up or anything. The whole thing is inside this lovely pre-built app. So I have made some progress on it. But yeah, got to get a bit further today. So first order of business is to rebase our current work. So let's just catch up with main for that. I've been working on this branch React Native again. So let's rebase onto that. See if there are any conflicts. Great. Force push that. And because it looks like there's been some package updates, let's do an npm install of our Fiddle Electron repo. And that's the screen's quite busy at the moment. Not quite sure what I'm going to be doing first in terms of tasks, so I'll keep this windows open for now. Install latest steps. So I suppose the first thing that was on my mind, I might as well run the app just to remind myself of where we left off. Probably don't need that extra terminal. Quite a few windows. Maybe we can live without them. Keep install around. It's good to have one window inside Electron Fiddle core. So let's have one on Fiddle core. Oh, we might need runner. Okay, let's have that there. Close others. Close all of these. Commands runner might be useful, but what is commands anyway? All right, I don't think we need any of those. This situation will change. So you can see one of the annoying things is Electron Fiddle takes a heck of a long time. Heck of a long time to build. And I have quite a few changes that can't necessarily be hot reloaded, so it's not too pleasant to develop on. So here it stays white for a moment while doing who knows what. But then once it shows up, we'll finally see what the aim is. So while that is loading up, can I put it on the side? So this app, once it shows up, is going to pull in this template from React Native Fiddle repo. And I want to bring the template up to date, because right now this is a Fiddle purely for the sake of an Electron app, but we want to actually load this up with stuff that's relevant to React Native. So let's fold down Fiddle Electron for just a moment. Let's have RNM pre-builds up there. Still taking its time, isn't it? Can't even move it right now. Okay, so I'm just looking at RNM pre-builds. This is a repo I've got that makes the pre-built binaries. I say pre-built binaries, the pre-built .app. That is going to be loaded into this thing once it loads. And it just so happens to be a perfectly good thing to reference for making a template for any React Native macOS app. So let's do that. Let's basically take more or less what this package.json is, shove it in there, and just do a bit of subtraction. React Native Fiddle repro, let's see what changed. So we actually want to keep all of that stuff at the top. Main, I'm not so sure about that. So in a regular React Native community CLI template, you don't specify main in the first place. So we can get rid of that. There's a bunch of scripts here. Now in the original template, it really only needed the start script. So that's fair enough. Let's just do React Native start. Okay, refresh that. All right, no, there was a main.js. Yeah, but we don't need it. All right, yeah, no. Now, as for dependencies, we don't need Expo Fingerprint. We do need React, React Native, and React Native macOS. Do we need React Native? That is a question and a half. React Native macOS, I don't even think we do. I'm not sure React Native macOS actually pulls in anything from React Native. But the question is, does something like Metro do so? Well, it may take a bit. Let's just install both for now. Who knows what we actually need? And then there's a few trickier ones, like do you need Babel core, preset env, runtime? We don't need Expo CLI. That was something I was doing for fingerprinting. CLI platform, yes, we're going to need those. Babel preset, ESLint config, metro config, underscore config, yes. Don't need jest, so there'll be no testing here. Don't need test renderer. Maybe need ESLint. No, I'm not sure the Monaco editor is actually going to offer linting. We don't need prettier. Don't need jest, don't need React test renderer. Okay, we've got TypeScript and engines. I don't think that's ever really made sense. Okay, so that is all the important stuff from the React Native community template. And we can change the description from a minimal React Native application. Now, so we have updated template and we should run an npm install in here. Let's see if Electron, oh man, it's really taking its time. Not feeling very healthy. Oh, Mark Lynch, hello. Just about. So Mark, what I'd love to show you is this window, but it's taking its sweet time coming up. I don't really know what it's up to. Oh, did it just move there? So what I'm, oh, why is there a 404? So what I'm trying to build is a way to make Electron Fiddles for React Native macOS apps. So a fiddle is kind of like the idea of not needing to bring your own development environment and just having the JS files. In the world of web dev, you'd have an index.html, a JS file, and a CSS file. And you wouldn't need to have Visual Studio Code. In our case, we want to translate that to the world of React Native. We want to make it so you don't need to bring your Xcode or Android Studio, and we just want to have a sort of integrated environment where you can make your own fiddles without needing any other dev setup. And what's even better is the user shouldn't have to build React Native for themselves. The user should be able to jump between pre-built, not even pre-built React Natives, but pre-built .apps and get their .app that's loaded up with whichever version of React Native macOS, and in theory be able to bisect to check for regressions and improvements. And once we have this tool, people will be able to file issues, and maintainers will be able to see repros really easily. Now, I'd love to show you this visually, but this will need solving. This startup has been looping with a failure on whatever this is. I need to get to the bottom of these logs. Oh no, they're just adding so quickly. I can't. So what is it talking about here? It's trying to download something. For some reason from Electron. Oh, I think this might be a case of we need to clear the cache, because I was jumping between branches. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete application support for Electron Fiddle, clear that, then do a npm run start, and see if we just get lucky. Might also need to regenerate releases.json. No, that's looking good. Okay. So yeah, this is development is rather the development experience from my side is not pleasant, but I'm hoping for users it's going to be a lot more. So, oh, something's a bit less red, but we'll see. Getting quite hot. I'll just take my jumper off 1 minute. Okie dokie. Right, I'll figure it out. So now I can visually show you like what I was on about. We have an app here which will be able to jump between pre-built apps, literal .app files. I'm not talking about pre-built React Native, the dependency inside. I'm talking about the .app, and we just click run there, and bada bing, bada boom. This is going to come up, and it will want to connect to your Metro dev server. So I need to put in some extra logic so that you can see we've actually got a Node.js integrated CLI in here. So I'm going to get that to spin up a Metro bundler for us. And the end result of that is what it's going to look like is if I proof of concept this. I thought I had a window for this. Hang on. So if I do an npm run start in something I made earlier, stop that, run it again. Oh, why is it having so much problem? That's a bug in React Native macOS, by the way, not my fault. There we go. It would be something like that. Then the idea would be that you can change some files in here, like your let's reduce these irrelevant files. We would have an app.js or app.tsx rather that we can edit right here inside the Monaco editor, and it would cause hot updates that update this thing. And once you're satisfied with your minimal reproduction of whatever thing you want to reproduce, you can publish it to GitHub gist, and other people can download that gist into their fiddle. It'd be brilliant. But there's a few more steps to go. So for one thing, we need that Metro bundler to be started up alongside the Electron app, which is actually a React Native app. We also need to make this template a bit more like a React Native template, because right now it's carrying a bunch of web dev files and it doesn't support .tsx as an extension. So at the very least, I think that's something I can get working on, and that's exactly what I'm working on here. So we've updated our package log, our package.json, we've got our JS files, and I'm going to remove some of these. We no longer need preload.js, we no longer need renderer, we no longer need styles, don't need a main.js. For now, I'm going to call our app.tsx app.js because I assume it's going to be making some hard assumptions on file names. We don't need index.html. And I'm just going to push this updated template to GitHub and see what happens. Yes, very neat indeed. Thank you very much. Let's see. Update template to be more like React Native template. Push that. So the way these templates work is you have to have a repo where you name the branches in a very specific fashion. You point Electron Fiddle at that repo, and because React Native is forever on version 0, the format we have for this branch name is 0xy. And just the latest version, latest commit on this branch will be taken as the template. So Electron Fiddle has some very aggressive caching. So we're going to find out for the first time how that all works. So when I kill Electron Fiddle in the dev, in my CLI, it holds on to, you see there, these extra like new lines it's shoving in. It holds on to my terminal for a few extra seconds. So I got to like let it die for a few extra seconds beyond just killing the command. So my hope here is when we relaunch this, it's gonna like not have the old fiddle template cached, and hopefully it will get our very latest fiddle. No, it seems to have got the old cached one. So what can we do here? What does go into Electron Fiddle, and I'm sure there'll be like a template. There's a templates folder right there. Yeah, if I delete that thing and we write rs here, meaning refresh, and we press return, I think, yes. So that is the template we just made on a stream. And now it's got rid of the index.html, it's got rid of the CSS. Main.js is curious. I wonder if that's like a sham, because we never put a main.js into here. So I think there's something, it's decided to help us out and like, even though we didn't ask, it's given us an empty one. That might be fun. Let's track down in the Electron Fiddle source code. There we are. That really helps us find where all this logic lives. So just by searching for //empty, we can start to see like where it fills in these templates if it thinks it's got a corrupt template. So, oh great, this is great. So the reason I haven't been able to rename this app.js to app.tsx is it thinks it's an invalid file name. But guess what? We've seen the logic right here. We can just add in tsx as a supported file type. That would be nice. I think we don't support HTML and CSS anymore, so let's remove those. As for JS and MJS, why not? JSON, yeah, you can stay. And then let's also include JSX can come along for the party. As for suffixes, well, yeah, all seems good. If no entry point is found, default to main.js. Okay, so in a typical React Native macOS app, what does the entry point look like? There we go, index.js. Let us bring that into our template. It's going to load from /app, and it grabbed its app name from app.json. Why not? You know what? Actually, I think we can live without that. Just to simplify things, we can just pass in app name can be RNM prebuilds. And this is just because I've made this template from this repo called rnm prebuilds. App.delegate is looking for a module named rnm prebuilds, so I'm going to make sure that this matches on both sides. So it's a bit of a strange thing to name your app, but why not? And we're going to call this index.js. And as we've seen in our package.json, we don't need to set that as main. So that's that. And now on the Electron side, Fiddle Electron main.js now for us is going to become, oh wow, that is referenced everywhere, but mostly in tests. I would really prefer to call this index.js. Really, really prefer that. So I hope this goes well. Editor ID, yeah, clearly we need to sync up some of this logic. So everything we put in here needs to probably have an equivalent over there. So let's just do some multi-line text editing. Grab that. And then for each of these, what was it before? Let's just grab each of those and hang on. Grab each of those. That side, and then these, and then get rid of those. Hopefully that works out. Okay, package name, package.json. Hopefully, if I clear the cache of our templates and reload the main process, that will look a bit more authentic. So add index. You know what? This feels like a amend commit occasion. Let's force push. And where were we? Delete that template so it gets re-downloaded. Then refresh the main process. Great. So we have our index.js. I think it's pretty boring to have that there. I would prefer that window starts closed, to be honest, so that your full attention is on app.js. I wonder how it chooses all that. Aha! And our change we made earlier to drop support for CSS and HTML has resulted in this. So let's go back to our editor ID. Each of those needs to have a corresponding empty. So for CJS, we've got one, MJS, JSON. Now we need JSX and TSX. So we can just do the same JSX and TSX. And why can't we have a TS for ourselves? Why not? JS, TS. Get rid of HTML and CSS. I think I worry about adding in like TypeScript ones because there is a good chance that the Monaco editor, something in the way this all works, like doesn't actually have proper TypeScript compatibility, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, I think we're a little closer. So that's reduced some red line. There's 17 errors though. That can't be good. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What I could do to clear those errors is actually say, you know what, we don't drop support for index.html and whatnot, but we do add support for some new things. So, oh, what? Why is there a yarn lock as well? Oh. So I did an npm install earlier, assuming it couldn't possibly be using some other package manager, but it does seem these guys use yarn. So that has probably confused things. Right, let's get rid of that package lock. It's a good thing that the yarn lock. Oh, the yarn lock also got removed. Right, let's discard those changes. Discard that, and I know my node modules might be looking a bit broken right now, but if it works, we're able to develop, so that's no problem. Right, so I'm gonna actually undo some changes a moment ago. So undo that, and think a little more carefully which file types we want to support. So we want all of the original ones, plus TS, plus TSX, plus, grudgingly, JSX. Why not? And then we add TS, TSX, and JSX. And then we'll have JS, TS, TSX, and JSX. And then everything's happy. And we don't drop support for CSS, HTML, CJS, blah, blah, blah. Now, hopefully TypeScript is a little happier. I always find it hard to read. Yeah, so that's no longer erroring. So no errors found. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, 2 problems. That's fine. Save that up. Ow. Where are we exactly? What are we up to? Let's see if that all still works. So I want to make sure it's not going to generate empty file things for us. Cool. We've got app.js and index.js. Now it'd be nice if we didn't see the index.js by default. But first, let's push that. Hang on. Use index.js as entry point. Command. It's doing some pre-commit hook, and then support JSX, TSX, and TS. Technically, we could support CTS and MTS, but it's my fiddle. It's my fiddle. We'll just stick with TS. Why not? Okay. So where does that leave us? Oh yeah. I want to stop showing index.js by default. Which means we need to find the main.js, find all mentions of it, not in the tests, and see what is causing that to get displayed by default. Ah, that's quite interesting though. Who determines what the required files are? Values is just out of those. Okay, I don't know. Where were we? Main.js. So who's referring to this? Okay, oh, interesting. We can stop that being called main process. So right now, this editor tab is called main process, which makes sense in the world of Electron, where you've got main process and renderer process. But actually, we don't want that out at all. We're going to call that entry point. And these are pretty harmless. I want to make as few changes as possible to the source code so that rebases are easier, so I can catch up with main. So I'm actually going to leave these index.html things in as being harmless, even though no one's actually going to use index.html in our fiddles. So that thing gets to be called entry point, and then our app.js, we could call that app.js, app.jsx, and app.tsx. What's the app UI? UI entry point? I don't know. Main component. Yeah, main component. Root component. Let's call it a root component. Now, of course, that hasn't updated over here because that was a... Oh, it's a renderer change. Huh. So Electron Fiddle's renderer is not based on... I don't recognize what framework it is. It uses JSX, I think, but it's not React as I recognize it. So something like hot reloading we don't really get for free. Well, at least I think. Known files. Oh yeah. Let's grab that. Add this to our known files. Do. Okay. So we're getting a little closer to a point of how can I get index.js to not show up at startup, ready opened. Not really sure. Supported file. Well, there's no like folder of editor related source files. It's just utils. So I'm not really sure where to go digging. But previously they have referred to main.js. So if I search for all mentions of main.js inside the source tree, maybe we will find where they choose which ones get to make the cut. Let's see. Oh, interesting. While looking for that, I found something of interest, which seems to be like a default package JSON, maybe. Not quite sure what this is used for, given that we have a different way to specify templates, but let's cross that bridge when we come to it. What we really need is to search for all editor-related thingies. So I want to know about the editor window, how it chooses which things to show. Mosaic sounds relevant. Ooh, padding and stuff. Files, focused file, number visible. These all sound relevant. MobX, okay. Editors. This feels like we're close. Initial. Search for initial. Values, files. So it seems to just use all files by default. Maybe we can live with it, but let's say we can live with it. There are probably bigger fish to fry. So rename titles for Windows. Editor panes. Slow pre-commit hook and then push. So we're a bit closer. But the thing we really want is to kick off a Metro bundler. How would we do that? There should be some kind of spawn async or exec async. Exec, there'd be quite a few of these. Fiddle core. Now that launches the .app. Anything involving get exec path is looking for electron.app /content/ resources / electron and trying to launch that binary. But where would be the right place to launch Metro? We've got stop fiddle. Do we have a start fiddle? We do have a start fiddle. Okay, I see. So we've got one child here. Okay, I think I'm beginning to see the picture. So let's get rid of edit utils, edit interfaces, close to the right. So we've got one child process here, and we're for launching our Electron.app, which is actually in our case a React Native app. And I'm going to call this host app. So that's the child process for the host app. We'll rename that app. And we are going to want another one. Before I turn this into something parallel, let's just do it dumb first. React Native CLI. We're going to spawn we need a path to the template, which will be living in a totally different folder. But maybe just for a proof of concept templates folder, I am just going to hard code the path to this. Terminal, please. This is how I like to get paths to things. Yoink. Grab that. So just to see if this is going to work at all, I'm going to have doink, 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 doink. Yoink. What's this do? Hang on. This takes a version in, fiddle in. I don't know what that all means. Version. Okay, fine. But that's kind of annoying because that is assuming now that the version matters. So this runner thing is not merely a thin wrapper around child process.spawn. This is something else. This runner actually is this runner.js window that I've had open since the start of the stream, wondering what it was for. Runner.spawn is going to behave like this. Version goes in. Get exec. I don't think we want any of that logic. So the get exec is going to look for a directory based on that version. And we actually want full control over the directory path. So what is the smartest way to go about this? I mean, I could just turn this into regular like node commands. Maybe that's a good way to get started. So node child process. Oh, that'll help. I didn't know you could import child process direct, like as a named import, but there we go. We can do that now. Nowadays, child process dot, for example, yeah, okay, right. That adds up a bit more. Spawn, right? Yeah, okay. Grab the spawn. So instead of doing this weird runner spawn thing, which I don't know anything about, we can have a spawn which is not asynchronous, which is fine. How do they do it? They are, what exactly are they waiting on? So they are doing some irrelevant stuff first before finally they call Node.js spawn with the exec. Args like this. But we can do that. We can do all of that. So our command is going to be, actually, I want to think of the common working directory first. So blah, 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 there's something goes in there. And this is right, yeah. Yeah, so your CWD is going to be that. And the thing we're going to spawn is node dash dash. So it's node run start. Now, the thing about using node run start is you don't pay the overhead of spinning up npm. But it is all it's doing is just calling the start script. React Native start. Okay. And that returns something, does it? It's been a while since I used spawn rather than exec. Const rncli can be like that, and then we get rid of all this. And this will have a stood out, I guess, or just listeners, so that we can manage our own stood out. Oh no, yeah, there's our stood out stream. And then what they do here is if there's options.out, why don't we do the same thing? There's your options. Where do your options come in from? Version in, fiddle in, then your options, and because this person didn't pass the out option, we wouldn't do the same thing here anyway, but let's see. I feel like I want to see the output for this. So std.io should be, is it really just, was there one other option? I swear there was. Okay, I'm thinking of like, am I thinking of how exec works? So I want to see the stood out there in my console. It's been a while since I've node SDK. Yeah, let's just get in there. No, that's exactly what I didn't want. Node docs. Node.js docs. Right. Search inside Node.js. No, don't take me to GitHub. What are you doing? Node.js.org. Jeez. Right. Docs. Remind myself of the option I was thinking of. Pipe is the default. And what does pipe do? Pipe between child process and parent process. I think it's inherit I'm thinking of. Oh well, we'll find out what it does once we actually call it. So RNCLI. I feel like we're going to be blind unless we keep an eye on it, but fine. We should also have another close listener. So on the closure of the RN CLI, we clearly want to do something. I don't think we want a asynchronous callback for this. We want code and signal. And shall we add that to our fiddle processes? Fiddle process set what exactly? Web contents. That's tricky. It's expecting a one-to-one. So we don't get automatic cleanup of this because it's expecting each fiddle process to have exactly one child process, not two. How about we turn that into an array of child process or a set of child process? And because this is file local, Let's see. If fiddle processes dot doesn't have web contents, then fiddle processes dot set into web contents a nice new set. Let our child processes be a set of child process. If you have one, there's more than one way to write this. Hang on. Fiddle processes.get web contents. Hang on. If you still don't have a child processes, that's what I meant to say. Is it happy with that? Then child processes.set. No. Add host app. And RNCLA. Okay. Righty. And we need to do something symmetric on stop fiddle. So child processes is going to be a set here. And then if no child processes, then we just bail out here. Otherwise, for const child process of child processes, then we do this. Yes. Okay, so now start and stop fiddle are responsible for multiple child processes. Now, how is it that they're able to surface that stood out? Either way, fiddle processes is going to be, we want to do child processes delete web contents. Delete host app. What is this web contents thing? Oh, I'm getting so confused. Fiddle processes and use set. A bit lost. I am a bit lost. Right. So originally, fiddle processes. Okay, right. If child processes dot empty size. Okay, I think we are starting to get somewhere. going to delete RNC Lite. Maybe that's it. Then we'll do that. If you still got size, return early. If you still got size, return early. And then otherwise. So it's kind of a race between these two. Whichever closes last rather, ends up being the one to finish up the cleanup. So previously we had our host app. Great. Yeah, we'll want to do the same thing for our RNC Lite. Great. Push output. Yes, I think this is going to work. This can all work. Maybe. In which case, I think we are now ready to refresh the main process and then see what happens when we click run. So I want to make sure, first of all, that we don't have our other Metro bundler interfering with this, blocking the port up. So get rid of that one. So now, what happens? What happened there? Sard! What a crowd. Nice to have you along. So you'll see what I'm building is the Electron Fiddle thing I was talking about before. We're getting closer. So what I've just started doing is trying to make it so that alongside launching a React Native macOS app, we also spawn the Metro bundler for it. And I foolishly just closed the alert window. So I think we need to, let's restart the Electron app. There we go. So we click run. That boots up this app, and then we have a problem with the Metro bundler. What could that possibly be? It says there's no such file somewhere. So what thing is failing to find a file? Now, that used to be done by the CLI. Oh, yeah. The CLI used to manage it. But to be fair, so the CLI used to do, it would kick off the Metro bundler and then it would open the app binary. Yeah, I suppose like literally what we're trying to do is backfill that functionality. That's quite funny. So I have told it to go look in this, to go CW into this file path. Why can't it manage that? What if we had, so we got our Stadera, we got our surely that thing exists, because if we just pulled it out. It exists. That exists. So why are we getting INT? Just for a sanity check, let's comment that out and do a much simpler command. We shall cat a file inside users Jamie. What could be cat? Have I got an N file there? What would be a small thing to log out? Git config. Or you know what? I could just just do a list inside there and see if that survives. So we'll refresh the main process. Come on, what's going on? Okay, cool. So as a proof of concept, we see we can have two child processors living side by side and writing out their stood outs and stood error. So I'm just wondering if it failed here. So if I tell the quid to be something that has a space in it, does that give me an NONT? Come on, Electron. Oh, we've got a few of these piling up or whatever. Let's dismiss that, quit that one. Dismiss that, quit that one. Come on. Right, clearly something's not healthy. Let's wait for the double new line to see if I've got my CLI back. I don't know. Let's try npm run start, not stat. Wait for a very long build. Just check if that works. Yeah, so that all works. So if we get an NONT here, we clearly need to figure out how to escape backslashes. Ah, jeez. Yeah, as I say, I needed to wait even longer. It's detached. That's very strange. Right, that's no good. I had to wait even longer to run the start command because there was things still trying to clean up. So, oh, we're good to go. Right, let's run this. Right, okay. So it can do spaces in the path just fine. And we can tell it to list out templates, I'm pretty sure. Refresh. Yeah, so there is loads of IPC. There's also IPC stuff. They've got this thing called Devtron. I've got no idea what it's for, but it hijacks all the IPC messages and changes them from strings to objects that contain a string nested inside them. And that has actually cost me days and days of time finding that their IPC is broken. I'm sure I'm holding it wrong, but I would have hoped that just kind of worked out the box. Okay, so the parent directory happily does lus. Stop that. So if we do the directory itself, we list that. Refresh. It's not the output I expected, but it did an NONT there. Why? Why? So if you cd into that directory and you do lus, it should give that. What? What is going on? Does spawn not take a string? Does it take an array of args? Takes a string. I could try it one more time. That didn't make any sense to me. Le. Okay, le works a bit better. Very strange. Very, very strange. Okay, so given that that works, why can't I do a node run start in that directory? In fact, what would happen if I literally just did that? Let's get ourselves a nice big old terminal, cd into that directory. If I did a node run start, what would happen? Node run start. I've clearly, no, it's node dash run start. Oh, because because the npm modules have not been installed. Okay, right. Got it. So that's what I wanted. And the problem is partially that template has not had anything installed for it. Now, Sard, question for you. I have been deciding what should go into this minimal repro template. Let's just get something bigger to see more easily. Now, in the minimal repro template, I was debating, should React Native go into this template at all? And I'm thinking, probably not. It would save a good bit of install time if we could remove it. I'm thinking the only thing that might take an interest in the React Native dependency at all might be maybe Metro, but even then, I'm not sure. And while thinking about that, so that's food for thought. The other question was not Fiddle Electron, where's Iron and prebuilds? Removable but needs some patches. That's not encouraging. Given that we're only interested in the JS side of things, right, Reacted from macOS doesn't have it. Good thought. Okay, Reactron macOS. Reactron macOS. Commit. Yeah, remove, maybe? Maybe this is inefficient. Maybe we need to check package.json for Reactron history. Maybe the Mac port isn't public. Let's have a little look for a bit longer just in case. Remove. They got remove OctaKit. They got remove something. Oh, that's the Electron app, is it? Right. Okie dokie. Well, for now, for easy life and low friction proof of concept, let's say React Native has to stay, which means RNN prebuilds is no longer of interest, except for the Metro config. We do want to pull that across. Different repo, you say? Right. Do you reckon it's inside Infinite Red? Keep it for now. Okie dokie. Yeah, it's a bit of a side quest, so let's make sure metro config is available. We're going to need that inside our repo. If I'm going to do that as an amend commit. Force push, and then delete that template. Stop that and catch up on some of these. This one doesn't want to die. Dismiss that, close that. What's it going to do? We refresh the fiddle. Not repro, not RNM prebuilds, it's this one. Refresh. So now I have a metro config. So we need to run an npm install. Quite honestly, I want to run a bun install. We want... Oh! Ha! There is one way we could do this. We could actually commit the node modules to the repo. It's diabolical, but it would save having to coordinate an npm install. I wonder, why not? Why not? For the first time ever, we are going to commit node modules to source. What's the damage? That's not too many. That's not too many. Right. The one line in our get ignored. No. Try yarn PNP. I have never touched that stuff. No idea what it's. So the thing is, like, I don't. All I know is that in this environment, I have access to Node.js. I don't know if it even has npm inside here. And in fact, I don't even know if I commit nested files, are they going to come through at all? But so yarn PNP creates a loader file that's generally committed. Well, right. But on the other hand, instead of learning any of that, I could just delete that one line from the git ignore. Oh boy. This is a sin. This. Oh! Are the symlinks gonna come through properly? Side quest, indeed. 30,000. 30,000 files is a bit fierce. 30,000. I mean, the whole point of this is you're not supposed to need to bring your own dev environment. And I think we're just going to have to do it, even if it's killing my Git UI. Oh, God, it's so inefficient. You may burn for this. Yeah. But to be fair, Christoph Nakazawa himself, back when he was managing the React Native team, or shortly after he moved on to the next thing, he did have a blog post. He did write a blog post saying we should. I think he was championing committing. Look at that, staging 14,000 out of 30,000. He did have a blog post that said we should commit npm packages to source. I'm pretty sure. Okay. And if it's any consolation, we are going to make sure that the DS stores don't make it in. Is that how you spell DS store normally? So .git ignore. Yeah, .ds underline store. Ready. Okay. Commit node modules to source. What would be the most? Do we do eyebrows or running away, shaken? Or salute? Actually, I like the look of that one right there. Hang on. Kind of angry face, but determined. I mean, it's pragmatic. It's pragmatic solutions to pragmatic problems. Look at that. Write all those objects. GitHub can just have an extra copy of all of this stuff. But this is, what can I say? This is a senior engineer level solution. I don't think, you know, it takes a keen mind to think dumber, go more basal. Right, so templates. Delete that template. Refresh. And let's see how long it takes. Ding, ding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's downloading templates 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Unzipping template 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And it's not displaying node modules there, but the question is, so it's a 30-second install. They made it in. They made it in. Did any, so there's a question of whether symlinks survived. So we had a .bin folder, and that all seems to be, oh, no, .bin made it in. .bin made it in, and these symlinks look plausible. All right. So, there will be a race condition here because the app is going to start up. It's way quicker to open the binary than to spin up a Metro server. Yeah. Thank you for the quote. Run it up. Now we're still getting NONT, which doesn't make a lick of sense to me. But just to see some action here, let us do what we were planning to do. Let's just make sure we haven't moved into the bin. Yeah, so it's node run start. React Native command not found. That can't be right because we installed React Native. So we have, oh. Eh? I thought we saw it with our own eyes, with our very own eyes. What's gone wrong here? Where am I? Where is this? Wood. Application support Electron Fiddle templates. Yeah. Node modules is right there. Package.json is right there. What do we think, fellas? How has this failed? Where are we? Tree? Where are we? Chmod? Okay, that's probably exactly what's going wrong. Unfortunately, this isn't like a traditional npm install, so this is, it's downloading the tarball from GitHub. So there's no kind of like post-install actions we can run without inventing that stuff ourselves, which if we have to, we can, but yeah. If I lula in the node module, what? It feels like the place where I am is not here. I wonder if, because I moved it into the bin, it's like not updated the fact that I'm in trash, but that would feel like a macOS regression because it normally updates that. Fine, all right, let's cd into that thing right there. Lula, the node modules. Right, fine. macOS bug. I think we actually just witnessed a stale shell that was lying about the path it was at because we had moved the containing folder into trash, or bin if you're running British macOS from a certain version onwards, and it hadn't updated the path. That is strange. I feel betrayed. Still though, the question is, if we did a node -- run start, see, that works fine. Which, the good news is this is probably not a file permissions. This is a chmod problem. Maybe. Has too many active changes. Only a subset of Git features will be enabled. Would you like to add node modules to Git ignore? No. Did I stutter? You saw that. Something just changed there. A new file came into existence and then disappeared. That's probably irrelevant. But okay, so problem then. Problem. I don't know. Why we're getting NONT. I mean, unless it has also tunneled into the bin because we had this thing open the whole time, and I don't know. I think that's an unlikely explanation. You see that? That's that second line break shows me now it's safe to rerun. npm run start. Oh, it's cold. It is cold. Jumper going back on. So I'm sort of bouncing between the lowest level of my aircon, a little bit of underfloor heating, but like because the heating's so unstable, you like go between far too hot and far too cold. So I'm doing a bit of thermoregulation manually. So we run this. I wish I had a bit more context on that. A bit of a longer stack trace would be a bit handier. Maybe maybe data isn't enough. Maybe hooking the std_air data isn't enough, and we also need to hook the std close is one thing. Exit is another, but code signal. Anything else to that? Console.log rncli code. I don't think I'm going to learn anything from this though. But we can, this is one of the easier things to iterate on, so didn't get that at all, so that could be a red herring. Maybe you don't get close if it's not even able to start in the first place. So, what is it? RNCLA dot on error? Why not? Yeah, cool, error. Error, console dot error. RNCLA error, error. That's not of error. Search for RNCLA error. Close. Close O1. No error this time? No error at all? Okay. NONT? Oh, that's interesting. I don't want that as a path. That's not the path at all. So why is it interpreting the exec command as a path? That doesn't make a lick of sense. Command. We've seen I don't need to escape these because we tried that. We tried just running lus in these directories before. Go back to the Node.js docs and just for some sanity checks, like how did... Yeah, you put the name of... You put the command in there. Spawn, a few more examples of spawn. Yeah, like lus. What's his second arg? Because that takes an array. Oh! See, this is the thing that I was trying to bring the docs up for, because I remember an array. I remember an array being involved. That'll be it. I think we got it. Because I've used exec and what's the other one? I've used spawn and exec kind of equally, at equal frequency throughout my career, but somehow the arguments do not stay in my head, and I always had it in my I had an awareness that like something becomes a string and something becomes args, but it's very hard to keep in my head. But here we go. Greatness is happening. So that's the race condition right there. Yes. Yes. Okay. If we weren't watching, I'll do an action replay of that in just a moment. But that is very satisfying. That deserves a screenshot right there. That is progress. That is so cool. Wow. Very, very, very cool. I'd like colors. I wonder what to do about that. Leave it as a to-do note. But let's just stop that. So stopping clearly needs work because it's not cleaning up all the processes or something. But I feel that's worthy of a commit. Which case? Yeah. That's no problem. It's impossible to know like what's going to be the right way forward and what could crop up as a result. But actually, like one of the great things about this Fiddle app will be that we will be able to jump between versions of React Native macOS and repro and check for whether we consider something as a regression or not. So I'd say, you know, bring on the bugs. Once this thing is ready, like let the bugs flood through, and we will have an easier way of measuring them. Okay, so commit shall be POC of launching React Native CLI alongside app. Slow commit hook, and then push, push, push. And I'm freezing cold, so on goes the aircon. Or up goes the underfloor. My feet are kind of cold. Let's have some aircon. And a bit more feet. Okay. Dev menu. Yeah, we were talking about the dev menu on Discord earlier. So in React Native Windows, the dev menu would actually live like up in this menu bar up here. I think it also worked on right click, but yeah, if it were up in this menu bar here, I think people like Jay would be perfectly happy with that, as it wouldn't interfere with right click in dev mode. Righty. So why didn't stop work? Stop fiddle for each child inside my set of child processes. We kill a child, and quite honestly, if there is no child, we should. I don't see why we need to check this at all, but I think that no longer makes sense now that we've got a collection. Okay. So why? So although this kills the child process, I don't see anything that like communicates back up to the app telling it like it is now okay to change that stop state. So where did that happen? Oh, is that waiting on this? Okay. Host app on close. Oh, and this child processor thing here, really, we should be grabbing this afresh, because this is... well, I suppose... it's a bit philosophical now. In theory, you shouldn't be able to start two fiddles in overlap, so it doesn't actually matter. So delete all the child processes that we added in. We should be deleting upon close. If you've still got size in the child process, then wait for the next one. And you delete. Once the child process is empty, you delete that web contents. Yeah. And then, yeah, that all looks correct. Where is web contents? I feel like that stop button should be transitioning. I'm going to put some logs in here. I got no idea why it's not transitioning. So, RNCLI close with, I don't really care what the code and signal are. And then host app close. Actually, I'll do it in the terminating bit. So, one, let's say 1A, 1B, that's a B branch, and then B, 1A, and then 1B. Save that. Wait for the hot change to apply. 5, 4, 3, 2. There we are, and then refresh. Make sure we cleaned up any stragglers. Okay, all looks good. So the thing is, when you restart the main process, I hope like we're getting a fresh state for these file private variables. I think we are. Try run. Bada bing. That. Yeah, so that's one of the things I was basically alluding to. I was hoping that the child process would get cleaned up. But that's very cool. The fact that we actually see that message bubble up here is also really nice. We're not left completely in the dark. Stop worked that time. Right. Lissoff. I'm going to kill port 8081. I'm going to... Might as well restart the whole Electron app for clean slate. And then we try again. There we go. There we go. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Come on, come on, come on. So what that's doing is waiting for the whole bundle, I think. Get me off this disco party. Come on. I would have thought there'd be a bit more bundling going on. I think this thing is too ill to ask for a bundle. There we go. See, all you've got to do is have faith. Just have faith. So that all worked. And now the thing we're coming for. Yes. Oh, looking for. Well, Saad, I look forward to switching between 79 and 81. And we can show users a change in dev experience. It's pretty cool that by hosting our node modules along with the template, we are actually able to see also when the React Native CLI experience changes, which is pretty neat. Okay, so now I want to see. It still jumps a lot. All right. Well, let's put that in the Kanban board for nice to haves for improving on the future. Right, let's stop this. And the hope is we get some insight into which one is failing to let go of this kind of lock. So we got 1A, we got a closed signal from just one of the two. And that tells us exactly what's going wrong because we didn't get a 1A or a 1B from RNCLI. So this is reacting to close signals, which so one asks, why isn't a closed signal a kill signal getting sent to both child processors? Let's see. So this will be a stop fiddle, path 1A. Stop fiddle, stopping child object or entries. This will be a dash index. No, you can't get entries of a set. What's the right way to do this? Object.entries. I'm mixing up. think I'm mixing this up with objects. So that shouldn't be a string. Right. Forgotten my JavaScript. That's incredible. Let's just increment a counter. Oh boy. I++. Stopping child I. Of child processes length. Size. With add one there. Stopping child, or rather, killing child. There, and then we'll just terminate. Sig killing. Okie dokie. So, refresh and sig kill. Is it kill or p kill? I always forget. That'll do. Okie dokie. Any stragglers? Nope, looks good. Run, and we'll find out why we cannot stop. It sent kill signals to both. Child 3 of 1 is strange. Very strange. The 3 will be because it exits out of the loop. I need to capture, right, const j equals I+1. This is all, there's better ways to write all of this, but I'm really just trying to get some debug here. So we capture the j value while we're inside the loop. Child processes was captured out here, that's fine. So it looks like we're sig killing both children, so why aren't we getting a closed signal coming through to our RNCLI? Because we've added RNCLI in there. Dot kill, yeah. Whatever, all right, we'll continue to dig. We shall restart the Electron app, just kill any stragglers. Kill. Everything on that PID. Stand up. Have I got any tasty snacks? I feel like I'd like some ice cream. But I've got nothing in stock. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. I think I'll be right back. Oh no, there we are, it's back. Stop that. That is curious. 2 of 1 is what happened? So yeah, I guess the count got decreased because the deletion happened there. So, why didn't we get a symmetrical log there? Why didn't we get either this log or that log? I guess our kill signal is not leading to a close event. Now, there's subtly different event. There's close and exit, I think. It's close and exit. So let's read up on close first. So that should fire if it was terminated due to a signal. Whereas the close event is emitted after the process has ended and the StudIO streams of the child process have been closed. So we don't actually need to hang around for the StudIO streams, to be honest. And if, I don't know, if the StudIO streams are like not closing up, we could just try listening for exit. See how this goes. Hot update. Refresh that. List off. Kill. Yoink. Electron, run. Bada ding. I wonder if we could even just stop it at this point, but. Mm-hmm. Come on. Oh, yeah. Have a good night. I'll catch you next time. I think I'll be finishing up pretty soon too. Stop. Oh, that did the trick. So that last change we made to change from close to exit did actually fix it. So that actually makes a pretty good wrap up for the stream. So I should just add a comment, commit those changes. And I think we call that a very productive, however long that was, 1-2 hours. We've got starting and stopping and Metro Bundler. Thanks for coming along and keeping me company. And I hope we get a little bit further next time. Right, so that's a problem. Surprised it's not killing the child fully, because it's been over a second without exit becoming a close. Seems to fail to. Listening for close. we get an exit event, but never a closed event. Surprisingly, the sig kill doesn't surprisingly port 8081 is still in use even after the sig kill, which still seems to be in use even after the sig kill. Second, fail. Okay, so that's the notes I need. Let's make a commit. Leave these messages out for now. JL. Just taking the debug out before I commit to source. And then forky fork. Let's see. Notes on cleaning up child processes. Tricky. Kill that. Do a list off. All right, list off seems happy. All right. Well, thanks for coming along, everyone. And I shall stop the stream. And have a nice day. Yep. Catch you next time.